I'll take 2 of those. Hi, I'm Jill.
And I'm John.
And we're the Geezers on the Go.
Go, go, go.
In this episode, we're at St. Johnsville Marina and Campground, a pleasant but busy town park on the Mohawk River section of the Erie Canal. St. Johnsville is about 30 miles east of Utica, New York, in the Mohawk Valley, just off Interstate 90. The park has 24 sites with full hookups, as well as dockage and services for the many boats that go by. The sites are primarily pull-throughs, with about half of them right along the river.
The park is actually part of the city maintenance yard. Look to the north and you see busy train tracks. Look to the south and you see the Mohawk River and all kinds of boats. The Bridge Street Diner is a must-visit in St. Johnsville, and about 5 miles down the road is the town of Fort Plain. There was a Revolution-era fort there once upon a time, and George Washington even stopped by. And finally, it was on to the locks at the Erie Canal, both old and new, as the famous waterway celebrated its 200th birthday. Well, as you can see, he's got all of his bumpers out. He's ready.
We're here at St. Johnsville City Park and Marina in St. Johnsville, New York. We're on the Erie Canal. We're not that far from Utica, just off Interstate 90. And the sites here are sort of grassy with a little bit of gravel. And they consider this a pull-through, so we pulled through and then just turned around and parked the car over here. And we have full hookups. And although we don't have a lot of space next to the big rig next to us, we do have this really big space out behind us that you can sit in the shade and enjoy watching any of the boats go by before there was a whole, like a parade of boats going by. I forgot to mention we're in site number 13, although it looks like 12 because that belongs to that person. But if we walk around to this side, you'll see all our full hookups here. There's sewer, water, electric, and there's our number 13. Some people might not care for the fact that that other trailer is so close, but I tend to maybe overlook it because of the view going the other way out here with the tree, and walking down here to go see the Mohawk River. And I found out the Erie Canal here started operating exact 200 years ago, so it's celebrating a 200-year anniversary, and they're having some different events depending on where you live. They got bike races and walk races, and I wanted to point something out here about this site. Although it's supposed to be a pull-through, so we did pull through and got to the end down here where we were able to turn around on the grass, but you have to hope that nobody's too much on this side so you can turn around and get back behind the trailer. We're lucky because John's sister's next door, so if we have to get around there we can, and right now there's nobody on that next site there. So just beware, you want some of these canal sites that you will have to figure out how to turn your car around. The middle row here is all pull-throughs, and it starts with number 1 and goes straight down. There's quite a few trees here. The ones that start on this side, these are also sort of pull-throughs. You just have to figure out how to get your car back around once you get in. But these are very nice sites. They're a little close together, but you have a really long way down. It goes right along the Mohawk River, part of the Erie Canal. And that one starts at number 9 and works its way down 10, 11. This one's very nice. That one's 1, 2. That's number 3. There's a big tree there. Well, some of them have a little more space. This one's number 11. And as we make our way down this last row, that's 14, and 15, 16, 17, 18. I think goes all the way down to 20. And again, there's some more in the middle. Some of these are a little bit shorter. You probably couldn't have a really big rig, but you could park a car next to it. And then the next row, the last row that starts, I think, at 24, those are all pull-throughs too, all full hookups. Your view over there isn't too great. There's some silos and the train goes by a lot, but all you'd have to do is turn around and you'd have a view over here. That's the entrance up there for the campground. You check in and there's a marina, and this is the extent of this little campground. There's 28 sites altogether. They have full hookups, and there's also a dump station. There's a full bathhouse, and some have shade, some are in the open, but pretty nice for a little city park. Another nice little thing over here right by the boat launch and the dock here is a really pretty gazebo. So you can sit here. Too bad the bushes are so high, so if you sit in here you really can't see the lake, or rather the river, too much. But I guess you could see it good enough. Everybody put some little chairs up here, and if you wanted to, you could have a little picnic. Just a pretty setting.
This is a little marina down here at the campground. The Liberty Clipper. This is where you check in to the campground and into the marina. It's right as you come into the little campsite, and right across from where the boats are. This is the boat launch here at the marina, the little pier going out alongside the launch, and that out there is the Erie Canal.
Costs you $2 to launch your boat. Can't swim, but you could fish off this. And you get a nice view. There's the bridge that goes across into town. The St. Johnsville Park here, they said that the campground and the marina here, they do offer dockage space, and it's $2 per foot per night. And this poor guy probably gonna cost him a lot because there's no set limit, but you get water and electric, and you get a free pump out. I met Captain Chris Conway, and he told me about the interesting voyages he's been on. I heard you're from Indiana, coming all the way down the different Erie Canal stuff.
I started in Michigan City, Indiana, on Lake Michigan, and I'm circumnavigating the eastern half of the United States. It's called the Great Loop.
Oh, okay.
It's about 6,000 miles.
Wow.
I started in Lake Michigan, went through Chicago and down the Illinois River, the Mississippi River, up the Ohio, down the Tennessee River, into the Tom, then the Tom Bridge, come out Mobile, Alabama, and then
wow.
skirted around the Florida coast, all the way out the Keys, and then up the eastern coast of the U.S. and in through New York Harbor and up the Hudson, and here I am in the canal system.
Yeah. You put up your sails often, or no?
Yeah, I took them down when I was on the Hudson because you have to have them down to clear the canal bridges.
Yeah. Well, how much more you have to go?
Oh, about 1,800 miles.
Yeah, this little flag on his boat, on Chris's boat, says if you've gone through the different canals and things, it says they're called loopers. Pretty cool.
Pay first, not first.
Take it down to Chris here and fill them up. And there you have it. Fill first, he said, then you pay.
You better like boats and trains if
Yeah.
you're going to camp here.
Trains go by all the time here. they get a little noisy at times, but they're not too bad.
They're close.
Yeah.
We're sitting right on we're sort of in between the Mohawk River, which is actually part of the Erie Canal here, and the St. Johnsville maintenance yard.
And also there's a water treatment plant at the end. I guess they took a piece of land and said, okay, let's make a campground. Some of the sites are a little close together, but ours is right on the canal, so you get a nice view of all the different boats that are coming down through the canal. And at either end, 5 miles either way, you can go see some of the locks and watch the boats go through. Yeah,
and we saw an old abandoned double locks too. Had to go down a bit of a dirt road, but it was worth getting down there.
It was kind of fun to see what old technology was from almost a little more than 100 years ago.
Yeah, there's not a heck of a lot in Johnsville. There's what was the name of that diner?
Oh, the Bridge Street Diner, which actually, if you wanted to, you could walk from here. And that's a good idea, because they actually have a marina here that going down the river, you can dock here overnight for a fee, and you probably could walk to the diner if you were hungry.
and down the road about, maybe 4 miles, 5 miles is the town of Fort Plain, and they actually had a fort there at one time. The official name is Fort Rensselaer.
Yeah, probably in the mid 1700s, and actually George Washington actually stopped there to review his troops and thank them for their service during the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, and they have a nice little museum there that we went to.
And that's right where one of the locks are, so you could just drive down the road and you can sit and watch them open and close the locks and watch the big boats and little boats go through.
Yeah, I think if we ever got used to the trains going by so close, this might be one of our favorites among smaller parks.
Right. We don't always stop at a city or a county park, but this one was well worth it. Just across from our campsite, across the road, across the street there. Not even across the street, it's still part of the edge of the park. There's train tracks. And there they go, both of them. Going in both directions. The village of St. Johnsville was settled in the early 18th century, becoming an important stop on both the Utica and Schenectady Railroad, and later the Erie Canal. About a mile from downtown is Fort Clock, a fortified stone homestead built in 1750 for the French and Indian Wars. Oh, walking down here looks like an old building and was part of a fort at one time. There's an oven and all the wood. Okay, let's go inside and see what's in here. Oh, just a house, and the old German people lived here a long time ago, and it was a little expensive, so we decided let's take a few pictures and that'll be good. But if you want to come down here, it's $10 a piece. Instead, we spent our $10 on the museum at Fort Plain, and we got the grand tour, just like George Washington did. Yeah, Washington came here and the fort at July 28, 1783, to thank the troops for all their good work.
There's evidence that construction of the fort began as early as 1730. During the Revolutionary War, it was officially designated Fort Rensselaer. While none of the fort still stands, archaeological digs by the Fort Restoration Project in the 1960s and 70s have unearthed many of its artifacts.
That's Continental Uniform?
Yes.
That's what the soldiers would have worn, or the
Continental Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a hat.
And that is tricorn.
And there's some of the bullets they might have used. This room has lots of artifacts they found from when the fort was here, and they did some excavation. It's kind of funny about the fort, only lasted maybe 20 years and then they dismantled it, but there must have been a lot of people coming and going, because look at all these things they found. They have lots of cool artifacts here. I wonder if George Washington touched any of those axes. He did he was here, so he might have slept here too, who knows. I got some.
In this room they have a lot of artifacts that they've dug up from excavations in the 1960s. Not all of these are ground finds, obviously, such as the uniform. But they found this door in an old barn, and that's a door from the Wearmouth house across the river where George Washington stayed while he was in Fort Plain, or when he came to visit Fort Plain.
Here's a little room that what would have looked like back in the, I guess, late 1700s. It's one of the few times I'm able to walk actually in the room. A lot of times they don't let you. And candles hanging from the ceilings. Ooh, look at that chair. Very comfortable. And a little music player.
1,000 men as rich as Squire David, and what they wasted every day, I wish it could be saved. Yankee Doodle, keep it up, Yankee Doodle dandy, mind the music and the step, and with the girls be handy.
Well, here they have Fort Plain spelled out in white rocks on the hillside. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that.
Maybe we'll see from below. Well, we drove up that road, and this is the site of the Fort Plain that was here, close to 250 years ago, right, part of the Revolutionary War. And they have a few things left, just some flags to commemorate the spot. And they're hoping to have some big reenactments here next year when we celebrate our 250th anniversary of the United States.
Okay, we're headed up to old Lock 33 now. It's an old abandoned double lock. It used to be on the Erie Canal and was moved over to the Mohawk River. Just about maybe a mile of dirt road up to the lock. This is what's left of old lock number 33 on the Erie Canal. It's the Mohawk River is to my right, and that's the new channel. The old channel apparently went through here, and this was part of a double lock here, one going upriver and one going down. I think you'd be lucky to get a kayak through there now.
I'm guessing that at one time the water must have gone through that little valley right there and probably went across and back out to the main part of the river. Yeah, there's one side of the lock, and then you have this thing in between. And there's the other side of the lock. There you can see the Lock 15 on the newer section of the canal coming into view now. It's about 4 miles downriver from our campsite in the town of Fort Plain. And here comes a boat coming in, so maybe we'll get to see him go through the lock.
Well, the lock is opening up now. Must have it up to a good level. And that boat that's out there waiting looks like he's going to come right on in. Well, as you can see, he's got all of his bumpers out. He's ready.
The boat's in the lock. Now we're just waiting for the water to finish filling up. That's a pretty nice looking boat. And the other gate is closed, so now we'll just wait till it fills up.
And the gates are opening up now. So it won't be long before Mr. Boat is on his way, and there may be one down there waiting to come in after he leaves. And there he goes. Live the Dash from Appleton, Wisconsin. Safe travels, buddy. And we'll see you down the road.
Stop, stop, stop!